Donald Trump couldn't stand the heat in Washington, D.C., where there were protests quite literally everywhere against the occupation by the military in Washington, D.C. So Trump is now rushing to go apparently watch the U.S. Open tennis match after once again golfing on the taxpayer dime. As I reported this morning, he has ordered the United States Tennis Association to direct all broadcasters not to show people booing him because it is expected that he will be loudly booed. Apparently, the United States Tennis Association has issued that order. Do not show Donald Trump being booed. How utterly pathetic can you get? Now, this follows Donald Trump spending the prior evening rebranding the Rose Garden, the People's Garden that belongs to us, Club Rose Garden, using our taxpayers for an exclusive club for the elites that Donald Trump gets to invite and provide lavish meals and entertainment while the people of the United States suffer from some of the worst job and economic reports in generations. But Donald Trump says, you know what? We're in a golden age, and we're in such a golden age, I'm ordering the United States Tennis Association to ban booing at events that I'm at. Sounds like a real golden age, Donald. He's also sending pathetic emails like this all night and into the morning. Nobody deserves this more than you is the subject. Ben, bravo. I'm giving Rudy Giuliani the Presidential Medal of Freedom, and now I want to honor you. You are in the top 1% of all Trump patriots. That's why I'm officially awarding you the inaugural Trump Patriot Medal. Claim your medal. You have to pay him money, of course, and then you get your fake medal, just like Rudy Giuliani got the Presidential Medal of Freedom. I mean, what idiots fall for this as they're losing their jobs, as they can't afford homes, as they can't afford groceries. But guess what? You're in the top 1% of patriots. You're going to get a fake medal. Woohoo! I mean, come on. Are you that freaking dumb? And then Donald Trump says the following. I'm Donald J. Trump. Please, I'm starting to worry. Ben, this is getting sad. I've asked so many times to complete my official MAGA poll. I'm worried about you. This is your very last chance to respond to Trump. So what is it? Am I the 1% of the top MAGA patriots? Or are you getting worried about me because I'm ignoring you? Nope, it is all one giant fraud. And while Donald Trump is doing that and posting memes like Chikopocalypse, like Apocalypse Now. I don't think Trump realized that was an anti-Vietnam War movie. But as Trump shows imagery of helicopters downing Chicago with Agent Orange and treating Chicago like America's war in Vietnam, there are real world implications when he's engaged in that. It shows weakness, not strength, and Vladimir Putin sees the weakness. Did you know that last night was Russia's largest overnight attack of the war? The largest overnight attack, 805 drones. Fortunately, and I say this, it's actually unfortunately, but the fact that the death toll is not higher is a testament to Ukraine's ability to shoot down many of these missiles, but not all. 5 people killed, 2 children died, and Russia targeted the cabinet prime minister building, the main government building of Ukraine, right in center square. That was hit by Russia. Now, this follows Russia hitting the Flex factory, an American factory in Western Ukraine a few weeks back. They then hit the European Union committee building, a United Kingdom Council building. No comment from Donald Trump. Donald Trump would rather post memes about invading a United States city like Chicago, one of the largest cities that contribute a ton to the federal government. No comment. So Putin is emboldened, 805 drones. They're hitting the major government buildings. I just want to show you the scenes of what it looks like with these government buildings being hit. Here, play this clip. And you can see right here just some other scenes of the buildings that were hit right in the center square right there. But everybody, Donald Trump and the elites, they're at Club Rose Garden, and Trump's calling it a golden age. President Zelensky spoke with This Week on ABC, and he was asked about not being invited to Alaska while Donald Trump rolled out the red carpet for Vladimir Putin. And Zelensky said, look, Putin got everything he wanted. He got to be photographed with the United States president. He didn't stop doing anything. He didn't give the United States. He didn't make any deals. No security guarantees were agreed to, no bilateral or trilateral meeting, and certainly no ceasefire. In fact, if anything, things were made far worse as a result of that meeting. Then Putin went to China with Xi Jinping, and then Prime Minister Modi of India went to China, and Kim Jong-un was there. And then everyone had a great big laugh at the weakness and the downfall and the humiliation being suffered by the United States right now. Total and utter humiliation for the United States right now under the Trump regime. Here, play this clip.
Russia continues to pummel the country. The summit in Alaska. What was that like?
I was not there.
You were not there.
I was not there. What can I say?
You were here and you were watching that summit. What did you think when you saw that and you saw the red carpet and you saw Putin arrive to talk about your country?
I don't know. I think that it was bilateral summit, and it's a pity that Ukraine was not there, because I think that President Trump gave Putin what he wanted. He wanted very much to meet with President Trump, with the President of the United States, and I think that Putin got it, and it's a pity. Putin doesn't want to meet with me, but he wants very much to meet with the President of the United States to show everybody video and images that he's there.
Just giving you two additional international news data points as well. Japan is saying, we don't have a deal with the United States. Maybe y'all should read Japanese newspapers instead of propaganda newspapers here in the United States. Japan says nothing's been settled. Washington has not issued any expected presidential orders on tariffs for pharmaceuticals and semiconductors. Tokyo's top tariff negotiator Akazawa said yesterday on Saturday. And then in South Korea, they are absolutely pissed that their workers at a Hyundai factory in Georgia were rounded up and arrested and thrown into detention centers when South Korea was trying to invest some money into the United States. That was planned with former President Biden, but now their workers are getting thrown in concentration camps in the United States. One of the the media diet in the United States is so freaking terrible, and it's why I try to focus on international news and why I study what is being covered here. So the research tool that I use is a tool called Ground News, and that's how I stay on top of everything. It's my go-to source for news. It's subscriber funded, and it pulls together thousands of articles from around the world. It organizes them by story, and then it shows you what's the right reporting, what's the left reporting, what is the center reporting. It's a game changer for me because as an active, responsible citizen and podcaster and reporter, it's important that I understand and analyze where's this news coming from. Is this a biased source, a non-biased source? But that's why I love Ground News. For every article, they tell you, did a media conglomerate put it out? Is it coming out from independent media? It lists the degree of factuality, which is interesting, as there are a lot of sources from big media conglomerates that actually have very low factuality. Independent news seems to have a higher degree of factuality, which I'm sure you already knew that. I use the Vantage subscription plan. Use the Vantage plan. We're going to give you 40% off of all the tools that I use. Go to Ground News. Go to ground.news/MTN. That's GROUND.news/MTN. Ground.news/MTN. Get 40% off the Ground News Vantage plan. It's what I use every morning. Use the tools that I do. One more time, it's GROUND.news/MTN. We've pinned the link to the purchase for your purchase below. So it's ground.news/MTN and get 40% off of that plan. I just give you an example right here. White House review of Smithsonian content could reach into classrooms nationwide. 0% of right-wing reporting on that. The powerful event last night with Bernie Sanders and Zoran Mamdani in New York City very few, 10% of the right wing ever even covered it. Maybe you want to know why Mamdani's growing in popularity, not just in New York, but across the country, because he's talking about affordability, which, by the way, Trump promised he would make things affordable. And now he just does his normal Trump fraud and says, I've done it. Mission accomplished. Everything is so affordable. Everything is great. And people just know that's not the case. Speaking of the Trump fraud, he then has his chief economic advisor, Kevin Hassett, go on TV. And here Kevin Hassett says, the reason that the Bureau of Labor Statistics once again says that the economy is in shambles based on the Friday report and the jobs report is horrible. He goes, just bias, political bias in the data. Here, play this clip.
Out the forms and sending in the surveys.
Because last month, the president fired the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, suggesting there was political bias, not just what you're talking about, which is a very technical issue on how data is collected and crunched. Did you fix the political bias? Or?
Well, there are patterns in the data that look like political bias, but they could be accidental. And that's why we need to get a new set of eyes in there to make sure that things are more transparent, that we modernize the surveys and we make them so that more people trust them. But think about this at the Federal Reserve.
So you don't trust these numbers from Friday?
I think the BLS numbers need to really be improved. They need to be modernized. And I gave a talk at the BLS next to Alan Greenspan a few years ago where I talked about the necessity of modernizing them. And so I still agree with that position.
But trend line wise, when we hear from companies like Caterpillar.
And then Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is asked, okay, like we all know, Bessent, that tariffs are a tax on American businesses that are passed on to consumers. Like, do you concede this? Even your buddies at Goldman Sachs are saying it, to which Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent goes, those are a bunch of libs. Those Goldman Sachs libs. I've made a career betting against Goldman Sachs. In finance, you made a career betting against Goldman. Oh, okay, bud. Here, play this clip.
A new high.
Hasbro says they're going to have to increase their prices. Goldman Sachs says 86% of the tariff revenue collected so far has been paid by American businesses and consumers. So just bottom line, Mr. Secretary, do you acknowledge that these tariffs are a tax on American consumers?
No, I don't.
Even though you have companies saying they are going to have to increase prices, and given the fact that 86% of these tariffs so far have been paid by Americans.
You're quoting Goldman Sachs. So
yes, Goldman Sachs, correct.
I made
Which I said, yeah.
I made a good career trading against Goldman Sachs.
Okay, all right. I do want to talk.
And then they bring out their next quack, MAGA Republican Senator Roger Marshall, who says the real person to blame for vaccine hesitancy, the real Dr. Fauci. Let's blame Dr. Fauci, who ran the NIH. Dr. Fauci, literally the guy who pioneered addressing HIV and AIDS. Dr. Fauci, who's been a bipartisan hero for being a top side. Like, this is why these MAGAs are so demented. You've made Dr. Fauci your enemy. And by the way, they're going to make the chairman of the Federal Reserve, which they already have, Jerome Powell, their enemy. And why? Because their leader, Donald Trump, the freaking vile piece of trash in the Oval Office, is an idiot. He kills people. He destroys things. And then they need to blame competent experts because they have to come up with some conspiracy why their freaking murderous, traitorous, felon, sexual abusing idiot leader keeps doing the things that you would expect someone with those qualities to do. Here's Marshall. Let's play it.
Look, Anthony Fauci did more to create vaccine hesitancy than Bobby Kennedy will do in his 4 years or 8 years, however long he is as secretary. That's where the problem is. So don't blame Bobby Kennedy for the problems created by Anthony Fauci. But I'm just telling you.
I'm asking you about what you said about the hepatitis B vaccine.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I wasn't talking about Bobby Kennedy or Secretary Kennedy. I was talking about you and what you said about the hepatitis B vaccine. And are you concerned that picking and choosing these things like this bespoke concept of giving more choice, that it also has the effect of undermining confidence in vaccines?
Yeah, I think there's a big difference between Democrats and Republicans. Democrats want a one-size-fits-all prescription for everybody. And I'm telling you, not everybody reads the book. It does exactly like that. I have confidence in doctors, in nurses, and parents and grandparents to make these decisions.
And finally, just to hear a voice of normalcy, here is Democratic Senator Tammy Duckworth, who talks about Donald Trump's Chicopolis Now meme threatening to invade Chicago and pour Agent Orange on it and kill everybody in the city. Yeah, not normal behavior. Here, play this clip.
Vice President Vance says there aren't plans to send in troops. Do you have concrete indication now that there are plans to do so?
Well, let's make it clear. The President of the United States essentially just declared war on a major city in his own nation. This is not normal, Margaret. This is not acceptable behavior. No, we don't have any indications of them getting ready to send troops into Chicago. In fact, I was out at Great Lakes base yesterday, Naval Training Base, and they were able to confirm that the only assistance they've been requested to provide is just office space for ICE, but that there are no barracks, no detention facilities, none of that is being requested or prepared in order to support troops into Chicago.
But the new MAGA Republican candidate for Senate, Congresswoman Ashley Hinson in Iowa, as Iowa farmers suffer, as Iowa people. We have a lot of people who watch in Iowa. The people in Iowa are getting freaking crushed right now. And there's a reason why Democrats are overperforming in Iowa. But she goes, I think Donald Trump has been the best. He's been the best president. I'm like, how great have these 8 months been, everybody? I mean, these people are freaking crazy human beings. Here, play this clip.
What are Iowans telling you? What's going to be the key for you to try to win that seat in next year?
Yeah, well, first of all, we're doubling down on common sense here in Iowa. The Democrats keep doubling down on crazy, and I'm so proud to have President Trump's full and total endorsement to get this job done. I look at what he's been able to do. I think he's going to go down as the best president in our history. In his first 8 months, we've been able to secure that border and deport dangerous illegals and cut taxes and make trade deals and peace deals. And so the list goes on. And so I know our work there is not done. And so that's why I'm stepping up to run for the United States Senate, because I think that we have much more to do, and I look forward to being a strong ally for the president. What I've done.
There you have it, folks. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers.
New Meidas merch drop. Check out the latest pro-democracy sticker packs, t-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, and more. All at store.MeidasTouch.com.